Okay, hello everybody. Welcome again to this session for IEC submissions and a bit of the process and some of the key information that you might need as you put together your proposals for sessions. Okay, so we'll make a start. Okay, so everybody should now be able to see that screen. Have a thumbs up. Yep, excellent. Okay. So as I said, my name is Rob Edwards and I'm Conference Director for IEC. So this is the first IEC that I'm organising, having taken over from Kate, and working closely with our co-host Swansea University and with our other platinum sponsor, the Welsh Government as well. So looking forward to getting together in real time for the first time in 2 years, and very excited about some of the submissions, the proposals for submissions that are already coming through to us. On the call today with me, as I've said, Kelly Jordan from Swansea University and Will Pritchard from Keele Business School. Will is a director for EEUK as well, and has been on the judging panel and sort of, I'm not sure what it's called, the decision panel, I guess, in terms of looking through the proposals in previous years for the conferences. So lots of insight to share, and both have submitted proposals as well in the past. So I think it'll be a useful session for us today. So firstly, some key information from me. As I'm sure you know, the deadline for proposals is Friday, the 27th of May. And there's full information on the website about how you submit that proposal. So it's emailed through to Lynn in the EEUK office. And you will then receive a notification as well within a week that it's been received. So if you haven't received that confirmation from Lynn, then please follow up and let her know as well. But she's very quick normally at getting back to people. By mid-June, you will then have a decision on whether your proposal has been accepted or not. Once the group, the steering group of the conference has had time to look through and consider all of the proposals. And then if your proposal is accepted, you need to have submitted registered for the conference by Friday the 15th of July. And just a note that the early bird rates for registration end on the 27th of June. And there's a link there in the bottom, as I'm sure you've seen already, to more information on the website. So apologies for my dog barking in the background. Okay, so now I'd like to hand over to Kelly, who's going to talk through a little bit more about what's involved in some of the different types of submissions to the conference. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you, Rob. So hello all, good morning. As Rob said, my name is Kelly Jordan. I am leading on the IEC from the Swansea University perspective. I've been at the university since, January 2018, and I've worked in the realm of entrepreneurship since 2015. So Rob, can you go on to the next slide for me, please? So I actually am the Senior Entrepreneurship Officer, so I work across the whole university in a central department, so in Research, Engagement, Innovation Services. And my role is to sort of promote entrepreneurship across the whole institution, from helping under and postgraduate students to become more entrepreneurial, but also helping staff to develop modules that embed entrepreneurship, as well as supporting them and some other arms of the university to spin out and commercialise on ideas. Next slide, please, Rob. To give you a bit of background about Swansea University, so Swansea University was actually built in 1920 by industry for industry, as you can see in the black and white photo back from 1920. That was our Singleton campus, and it had 89 students enrolled back in 1920. We're now up to about 25,000 students. And as you can see on the right-hand side, that's our Singleton campus in today, really, not right today, but in today's world. And below is our Bay campus. Now that is the campus where the conference will be held. That campus opened in 2015. I think at the time it was £650 million campus, but due to the research funding and buildings, I think we're up to over £1 billion now worth of investment into that campus. I won't lie, it's like a bit of because it's new, it's quite like an American Hollywood film campus. It is a very nice campus full of fantastic facilities. So down our Bay campus, we will be hosting the conference in what we call the Great Hall, which has all classrooms at the bottom, and then at the top it has our auditorium, as well as a gallery going all around the side where we can all network and exhibitors can be. And then also on the Bay campus, we have our engineering building, our School of Management, our computational foundry, which is where the computer science department is based, as well as other buildings as well, such as what we call the college, and that's for international students, and halls of residence as well. Halls of residence at the campus will be available. They are 5-star. I'm not saying 5-star hotel, they're 5-star student accommodation, but they all come with a double bed ensuite. We'll provide a link for you to see that. They can be booked from the end of May. I've already reserved, I think, 250 spaces on campus, so please don't be concerned if you haven't been able to book accommodation. That will be coming in the next following weeks. Next slide, please, Rob. So I've attended the IEEC. I think the first time I went was in 2015, I want to say, in Glasgow. Or was it 2016? I can't rattle my brain now. But I've been to about 4 in person and then 2 online due to COVID-19. So I think I went to Glasgow, Leeds and Oxford Brookes, and then obviously hosted you then in Swansea for the first time face to face. So looking forward to welcoming you all to Swansea at that time. So as you know, just out of curiosity, has anyone here not been to the IEEC before? I know there's a few from Swansea, I can see I know who haven't, but just to let you know, there's always themes. So there's track themes that go on, and there's 6 themes every year. And the 6 themes that are going to be this year is enterprise and entrepreneurship, education, research. So if you are doing any research and you'd like to share that, you are more than welcome to do that on your submission. Extra and co-curricular enterprise education. So if you're like myself and you work more or less outside the curriculum, you know, we have a lot of enterprise champions, especially from across Wales, and that are actually based outside the curriculum as well. Supporting startup, growth and scale up is the 3rd theme. The 4th theme then is United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and how the role of enterprise education is supporting that. And the 5th one is enterprise for the 21st century workforce. And last but not least, enterprise and entrepreneurship teaching and curriculum. So I'm sure that something you submit will fall into one of those themes. These themes and the 6 themes will go across all the days. And you can either pick a theme you want to stick to. For example, if you are an educator and you want to stick in the curriculum, maybe theme 6 would be for yourself. If you're a researcher, maybe you want to stick to theme 1 the whole time. What we do encourage is you to go and check out all the different themes, because obviously it's all about sharing best practice, and you might learn something you can embed in different areas of your entrepreneurship career. So please feel free to do that. There'll be keynotes going on, which everyone will be asked to attend. They're fantastic. We've got some really amazing keynote speakers joining us this year, which we're extremely excited about. Am I allowed, Rob, to give away any clues to the keynotes or not yet?
So far we've gone public with Professor Shai Vayakaranam, who's going to be talking to us about something about the sort of changing policy landscape in terms of entrepreneurship education and enterprise education. We've got another 2 keynote speakers who are confirmed. We're just waiting for their bios and their photos before we can go public. But as you say, it's going to be a really good panel. It's also going to be an interesting panel in terms of Welsh perspective as well, I think.
Yes, so that's correct. So if you check out the website, and you know, I know Rob is very good at updating the website on a frequent basis, and all the bios of the keynote speakers will be on there. In Wales, we sort of do entrepreneurship, I wouldn't say differently, but we're very well supported by the Welsh Government and a movement called Be the Spark. So we're actually going to be having a keynote panel called the Welsh Way. We will be inviting key people from them, just so you can see maybe over the bridge and across the water, sort of what we are doing in Wales, and makes it a little bit different. So I'm excited to bring you that this year as well. So if we can go on to the next slide, please, Rob. So at this, obviously the calls of contribution, there's 3 different ways that you can share with us your knowledge and best practice. So the first one is to facilitate an interactive session. I always find these are absolutely amazing, because it gets the other enterprise educators to really understand, you know, how you actually do it. You know, they get involved, as we all know, through entrepreneurship. It's all about learn by doing, and at the IEC it's no different. So an interactive session, I think, is really good. Whether you want to do interaction of how you've done it, and having people to design their own, for example, whether it's something curriculum based, or whether you want them to go through of what you normally do in the classroom to get students engaged. I think that's always a good one, so that participants can see exactly what you do. So the next one then is the 50-minute seminar. That's, as you all know what a seminar is, I think we've been to many, and that's just you sharing your best practice and your knowledge then with the others in attendance. And the last but not least is a Pritchard style. A lot of people get a bit thrown off by this, like, oh, I haven't heard of that before. So Pritchard is actually Japanese for chit chat. And what it does is, you can see below, I've included sort of a Pritchard I've done in the past at an IEC, just to get an idea. So it's 20 slides, and each of them lasts for 20 seconds, sorry. So the whole presentation will only be 6 minutes and 40 seconds. And it's to make it more seamless. So you're talking and delivering your session, and the slides are just going on in the background, and it makes it more seamless. You know, you're not looking back at the slides and you're just talking. They're used for pointers. We ask, well, we don't ask, the rule is that it's mostly all pictures and very limited writing. So it's down to you then to deliver the content. So these sessions are extremely good. They're really impactful and completely change the room. So these sessions will be going on. I think there's usually 6 in each of the panel sessions. So we welcome you to submit there. You can put your Pritchard slides on a timer, which we do normally ask for, and you can put them so each slide lasts for the 20 seconds. So that's a bit of a top tip and advice for you there as well. But if you go on to Google, or I'm sure we can be able to get one to you to share, you can already get the presentations with the timer on, so you haven't got to worry about adding that on. Can you go to the next slide, please, Rob? That's it for my slides. I hope that's been sort of useful for you, just to understand a bit about the sort of what the themes are, and also the layout of the different presentation styles. Will, who's with us as well, has been on the panel and the director of EEUK for many years. So he's going to come now with some top tips for you of sort of what he's learned over the years from the submissions. So Will, over to you.
Thanks, Kelly. So as Kelly said, I've been on the panel for IEEC for a number of years. I was the lead director for it as we took everything online, and now we're coming back offline again, which has been fun. Yeah, just a handful of quick tips really, based on kind of conversations, experience, discussions, and also feedback from parts of that process as well. Apologies in advance if any of it teaches kind of anyone to suck eggs, but I think it's important, because it's based on feedback and assessing the applications as they come in, that we kind of cover all the bases. And I'm also conscious that, you know, there are varying degrees of experience and varying areas of expertise as well in the room. So just a handful of very quick things that we've noted from reviewing previous applications. The guidance for the submission is fairly comprehensive. It's very good, and it's very useful, so please do read it carefully. There's nothing in there that's unnecessary, and there are recommendations throughout that I think will be very valuable to you, so please do read the guidance carefully. Related to that, I suppose, answer the question precisely. So the exact question that's being asked is what the panel want to know about, so answer the question as precisely as you can. Overall, make use of the word count. There are maximum word limits that are noted in the application. I would encourage people to write to those, and relatedly, kind of think about density. So try to say as much as possible, I mean as few words as possible, but while maximising the word count. So really do write up to that word count, and do make the most of, you know, getting a really convincing application in. Present a compelling argument, so evidence it, explain it, you know, approach it in the way that we would if we were researching or teaching. Assume everything is scored. So we notice particularly there are 2 sections of the submission where it asks you about your session specifically. One of those is for promotional material, and I think there's an 80 word, if I remember right, there's an 80 word limit on that. So that's the one that would be used in promotional material if you were to be successful. The other one, when it asks for a session summary, and I think is 300 words usually, is your opportunity to sell your session and prove its quality and prove its usefulness. So although the 2 questions look similar, the longer one of those is scored as part of the application process. I think what sometimes happens is, because the summary question comes first, people write the response to that, and then when they get to the one that asks them to outline their session, they sometimes lift over all or some of the content from that initial one. But the initial one is for promotional material, and the 300 word limit one is scored as part of the application. So if in doubt, I would assume everything is scored, and treat it all as such. And then the final one is just to double check the themes and topic suggestions. So does what you're proposing tightly fit the track that you're submitting it to? And if there's potential for ambiguity there, or multiple perspectives or anything else like that, use your application as an opportunity to tease that out and articulate why what you're proposing slots into the track. The tracks themselves are fairly broad. There are some suggested things that you might cover within them in the guidance, but we're fairly open and fairly flexible, provided it feels like a fit for where you're trying to put it. So I just encourage you, at the end of it all, once you've had a look through it, you've written it up, you've maybe, as Kelly suggested when the two of us were talking earlier, had a second pair of eyes on it from someone else in NTED, just double check that is the track that we're submitting it to the best fit out of the ones that are available. And that, I think, is all of the kind of quick tips, maybe preempting some of the Q&A, Rob, so apologies if I've jumped the gun there a little. But I think back over to you, Rob, if that's okay.
That's great. Thanks very much, Will. Thank you, Kelly. It's worth saying as well, I think, that in terms of the people who are going to be looking through the proposals and making a decision in terms of what's going to be accepted for the conference, it's a mixture of people from the host university, obviously, so people who are part of that steering group, and also some directors from EEUK as well. And as we've seen, people who have already got experience of sort of sifting through the submissions that have come in for previous IECs as well. So they have a good feel for how that particular submission will fit within a track, but also in terms of that sort of broader view as well of what the whole conference is trying to achieve. So we're looking forward to getting some exciting and interesting proposals coming in. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to stop the recording